The last normal morning started with something stupid. A coffee mug. It was beige, chipped on the handle, with a little cartoon whale that said, "I'm over it." Funny little thing my wife used to sip from every day when we were happy, before her sighs got longer than our conversations. I found it in the dishwasher. Clean. Dry. Forgotten. And that's what struck me. She always used that mug. Every single morning. Even when we argued. Even when she was late. That mug was her comfort blanket disguised as sarcasm. And now it sat there, abandoned. That's when I noticed her new favorite was already on the counter. Sleek, gray, minimalist. Something you'd expect in an Instagram post beside a guy named Cameron, who owns an oat milk startup. I stared at that stupid mug like it owed me an answer. Something had changed. Again. "Ashley," I called out, my voice echoing a bit too hard through the hall. "You forget your mug." She appeared in the doorway, hair wet, towel wrapped like she was late for somewhere I wasn't invited. Her face was blank, too blank. "Oh," she said, glancing at it like it was a math problem. "Yeah, I'm over it." Then she walked away. I didn't move for a full minute. That's how it starts, I guess. Not with yelling, not with screaming, but with the absence of small things. Familiar mugs. Warm looks. Shared jokes. Like termites under the floorboards, eating away everything while the surface still looks solid. 3 weeks before she asked for space, I noticed she had started talking like a therapist. "We need to prioritize emotional breathing room." That's not how she used to speak. Ashley used to say things like, "Want to make tacos and watch people get murdered on Netflix?" Now she said things like, "Let's give each other permission to disconnect for growth." I gave her that permission. I gave her space. And then I gave her everything else. I packed a bag. Told her I'd be gone a week. "Work trip," I said. She didn't ask where. Didn't ask when I'd be back. Didn't ask anything at all. The house was silent as I left. No goodbye. No drive safe. Just the soft hum of the fridge and the faint smell of her new sandalwood diffuser. That's how you know. It's not always cheating at first. It's something more sinister, indifference. People think betrayal comes with fireworks, with lipstick stains and screaming matches. But sometimes, betrayal sits quietly in a beige mug you once thought meant something. I checked into a cheap Airbnb 20 miles away. Told no one. Not even my brother. I needed to think. Or maybe I just needed to not be looked at like a man who's somehow both too much and not enough. I waited. A week passed. Then 2. No calls. "No, I miss you." Just one message. From her. "Take your time." I think we both need it. I stared at that message for a long time. It didn't sound like someone who was missing a husband. It sounded like someone who was managing a situation. I sat on that cheap Airbnb couch, surrounded by throw pillows embroidered with motivational quotes, and something inside me finally clicked. This wasn't space. This was staging. And I wasn't the one setting the scene. That night, I drove back home. Quietly. Slowly. I parked down the street like I was casing my own house. The windows were dark except for one. The bedroom. And in that warm square of light, a silhouette. Not hers. A man. He crossed in front of the window twice. Once shirtless. Once not. I didn't go in. Didn't yell. Didn't storm the gates like some betrayed gladiator. I just sat there, watching the house I paid for flicker like a movie I didn't remember auditioning for. Ashley had asked for space. I gave her the whole sky. But she forgot something. The key was still mine. And so was the ending. They say silence speaks volumes. But in my case, silence wasn't speaking. It was screaming. I returned the next morning mid-morning, not too early, not too late. The kind of time you choose when you don't want to catch someone doing anything wrong, but you do want to make sure they know you're watching. I used my key. She had forgotten I still had it. Or maybe she thought I wouldn't dare use it again. But I walked in like I owned the place, because technically, I did. Mortgage in my name. Utilities too. Only thing I didn't own anymore was her attention. The air smelled like citrus and unfamiliar cologne. Expensive. Not mine. The living room looked untouched. But the couch pillows were fluffed too perfectly. Ashley's never fluffed a pillow in her life. Upstairs, the bed was made. Hospital corners. Her side untouched. His side? Wrinkled. I didn't see any shoes. No toothbrush. Whoever he was good at disappearing. Ghosting before daylight. But ghosts leave traces. I went to the desk drawer. That's where Ashley used to keep her notebooks. Sketchbooks, lists, brain dumps. She loved writing things down. Even secrets, it turns out. Beneath a stack of old receipts and a worn leather-bound planner, I found it. A yellow legal pad. Page 1 was harmless. Meal prep ideas. Cute. Page 2. A list titled, Why I Don't Feel Guilty. No joke. It was numbered. He stopped seeing me. I feel like his roommate. I need someone who challenges me. I deserve to be happy. I've tried talking. He'll be fine. I don't owe anyone my loyalty if I'm miserable. And there it was. Number 8. The one that hit like a sucker punch. 8. Chase makes me feel alive. Chase. So now he had a name. No more shadows. No more silhouettes in the bedroom window. Chase. The same name she used to casually mention when I'd ask about her work friend from the office. Oh, Chase? He's harmless. Kind of a dork. Apparently, dorks are making a comeback. I kept reading. I shouldn't have, but I did. There were crossed-out thoughts, bits of emotion she never said aloud. He won't fight for me. He's too comfortable. Chase listens. Chase makes time. Chase looks at me like I'm still worth looking at. I could have stopped right there, walked out, and started moving on. But no, I flipped one more page. And that's when I saw it. A hand-drawn calendar. Dates circled. Some of them matched the nights she told me she was crashing at Lacey's or working late. But next to those dates were initials. CD. And hearts. She was documenting the affair like it was a fitness routine. That's when the pieces started falling into place. The silence. The mug. The way she kept looking past me even when I stood right in front of her. She hadn't drifted. She'd migrated. Out of our life. Into someone else's arms. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't flip tables or punch walls. Instead, I carefully placed the notepad back where I found it, smoothed the pages, and closed the drawer. Let her think I still knew nothing. Because what's better than a man scorned? A man watching quietly. A man with a plan. And right then, mine was simple. She wanted space? I'd give her space. But I'd take everything else that there's something you should know about me. I'm not the type to make a scene. I don't shout in restaurants. I don't flip dinner tables or key cars in a fit of rage. But there's a difference between being calm and being a doormat. And Ashley, she mistook the silence for surrender. Her mistake. Let me paint the picture for you. 3 days after I found the notepad, the one where she listed reasons her betrayal didn't count, Ashley texted me out of the blue. Can you meet me for dinner? I think we should talk. Now, a smarter man might have ignored it. But I'm not just smart. I'm strategic. If someone wants to put on a play, you give them a stage. Let them direct the scene. Then you change the ending. I showed up at the restaurant she picked. Upscale, dim lighting, the kind of place where couples try to look perfect while hiding the rot beneath the surface. I wore my best jacket. The one she used to say made me look too serious. Tonight, it was armor. She was already there when I arrived. Hair curled, lipstick sharp. Smiling like this was a reunion, not a reckoning. And sitting next to her, Chase Donovan, the harmless coworker, the guy who just gets her, wearing a tight black shirt like he was auditioning to be the next face of overpriced protein powder. I stood there for a moment, long enough to let the absurdity breathe. Then I smiled, the kind of smile that says I'm not angry. I'm just awake now. Ashley stood, kissed my cheek like it wasn't soaked in irony, and motioned to the seat across from them. Logan, this is Chase. You've heard me mention him. Yeah, I'd heard. In the background of her lies. In the voice notes on her tablet. In her giggles. In hotel mirrors. But I just nodded. Sat down. Calm. Measured. Chase leaned forward, eyes fixed on mine like we were in some kind of twisted job interview. I'll make this simple, he said. You've got 2 options. Oh, great. A PowerPoint in human form. Leave quietly, he continued. Or face me like a man. I stared at him. Then I looked at Ashley. She didn't flinch. She didn't speak. She smiled. Like she was proud of herself. Like this was a well-crafted finale and she'd finally dropped the curtain. I let out a low breath. Thought about the mug. The list. The way she said I was boring. And I smiled right back. You want your teeth whole or in pieces? I asked. He blinked. Confused. That's when I stood up. And cleared the table. With his face. Don't worry, I won't get graphic. Just know the wine didn't spill. It exploded. Red across white linens, like blood on snow. Plates shattered. People screamed. Chase flailed. Ashley shrieked like she'd just witnessed some random man flip her romantic rom-com into a war documentary. Security tackled me by the dessert menu. But here's the part they'll never forget. As I was being dragged out, I looked back, blood on my shirt, glass in my knuckles, and locked eyes with the 2 of them. You brought me here to watch me lose, I said. But all I see is two people too cowardly to start something without destroying someone else first. Ashley opened her mouth. I didn't let her speak. Don't worry. You wanted space? You'll have it. Starting now. Then I turned and walked through the lobby like a man who'd just quit the worst job of his life. And here's the kicker. When I got home that night, the house felt different. Not the furniture, not the lighting, just the energy. Like I'd been gone too long, and someone else had made themselves comfortable. I walked through the hallway, and that's when I smelled it. Her perfume, and something else. His cologne. I stepped into the bedroom. The bed was made. Too made. Like a hotel room trying too hard. Ashley never made the bed like that. Something clicked in my brain. Not suspicion. Certainty. I sat on the edge of the bed. Hands still warm from the fight. Head cold with clarity. Then my phone buzzed. A text. From her. You didn't have to do that. You embarrassed yourself. No apology. No remorse. No, are you okay? Just a line of blame. And that's when something in me broke. Or maybe it healed. Because in that moment, I didn't feel pain. I felt resolve. I stood up. Walked to her vanity. Opened her tablet. No password. She never thought I'd go looking. And what I found, let's just say, next time, she should have deleted the photos. They always say if you're going to lie, at least be smart about it. Ashley wasn't. Her tablet opened with a single swipe. No password. No facial recognition. Just unlocked, like the truth had been begging to be seen. What I found wasn't a mystery. I already knew. But there's a difference between knowing and seeing. And what I saw, let's just say, if betrayal had a soundtrack, it would be playing R&B in a hotel mirror. Photo after photo. Mirror selfies in a room I didn't recognize. Ashley posing with that look. Part smirk, part invitation, wearing clothes I'd never seen her leave the house in. At the bottom of one, a timestamp. Last weekend. That was the same weekend she told me she was in Sacramento for Lacey's baby shower. Well, unless Lacey gave birth at a Marriott, there's a plot hole in her story. One photo caught me off guard, not because of what Ashley was wearing, but because of who was in the background. Chase. Shirtless. Brushing his teeth. Casual. Like he lived there. I kept scrolling. There were videos. Voice notes. Conversations that read like bad fan fiction, except I was the one they were mocking. He still thinks we're just going through a rough patch. Poor baby. That line hit different. I felt my chest tighten, but I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just whispered. Okay. It wasn't pain anymore. It was clarity. Because there's something liberating about hitting the emotional floor. You stop fearing the fall. You stop caring what they say next. Ashley had been gone for months. Mentally. Emotionally. Now I had the proof in 1080p. But the worst part wasn't the affair. It wasn't even the betrayal. It was the glee. The joy she had while doing it. The mockery in her voice when she talked about me. He still buys me flowers. He still cooks dinner like it matters. It's like living with a well-trained golden retriever. That was the part one couldn't forgive. Not the cheating. The contempt. I closed the tablet. Placed it gently back where it was. Like a museum piece. Then I made a decision. No yelling. No confrontations. No late-night shouting matches. I was going to give her everything she asked for. She wanted space? She'd get it. She wanted to be alone? I'd leave her alone. She wanted freedom? I'd unshackle her so hard, she'd need Google Maps to find where I went. The next morning, she walked in like she was still living in Act 1 of a play that had already ended. Sweats. Hair up. Coffee in hand. Like nothing happened. She paused when she saw me sitting at the table. What? She asked. I didn't answer. I slid the tablet across the table. Screen lit up. Opened to the last voice note. She stared at it. Didn't touch it. Her fingers froze mid-scroll. Then, slowly, she looked up at me and said, "Why were you snooping through my stuff?" That was her opening line. Not "I'm sorry." Not "let me explain." Not even denial. Just deflection. That was the moment I stopped loving her. I leaned forward, elbows on the table. "You lied to me," I said. "You gaslit me for months. You humiliated me in public. You brought a stranger into our lives and treated me like background noise while you got off behind my back." She didn't flinch. Instead, she shrugged. "You've been boring for a long time, Logan. You stopped trying." That's what she said. Like I was a dead battery she'd politely recycled. I needed someone who made me feel something. I nodded. "And you picked that?" She smirked. "At least he listens. At least he doesn't make me feel like I'm wasting my best years waiting for someone to change." That's when I saw it. Not just the betrayal, Not just the manipulation. The calculation. Ashley had never truly loved me. She loved what I gave her. Stability. Security. A place to rest until someone more exciting came along. I stood up, walked to the bedroom, started packing. She followed, arms crossed. You're just going to leave? No, I said, zipping the duffel bag shut. You already did. You just didn't have the decency to tell me. As I walked past her in the hallway, she mumbled something under her breath. I stopped. What? She looked me dead in the eye. You were never man enough for me. And that was it. Not the punchline. Not the end. Just the moment I decided I would never look back. I walked out. No slamming doors. No threats. Just silence. But here's the thing. She thought I was gone. What she didn't know. I left the key under the mat. Because I wasn't done. Not yet. You ever see a magician pull a rabbit out of a hat? It's not about the rabbit. It's about where you weren't looking. That's what I became after I walked out of that house absence. A ghost she could no longer predict. No more texts. No more calls. No threats, no begging. Just gone. She wanted space? I gave her the kind of space that echoes. I moved into a short-term rental 30 minutes away. Sparse furniture. No photos. No memories. Just 4 white walls and silence that hit like a freight train. You'd think that would be the hard part, being alone. But it wasn't. You know why? Because for the first time in months, I wasn't being lied to in my own house. The air was mine. The fridge didn't mock me with leftovers she never ate. The bed didn't carry the scent of someone else's cologne. Funny how peace doesn't always come with soft music and candles. Sometimes it shows up dressed as an empty room with working Wi-Fi. I started sleeping again. Not well. Not deeply. But honestly. And while she thought I'd vanished, I was working. Quietly. Strategically. See, people like Ashley, they don't notice what's missing until it affects them. She expected a storm. A meltdown. Some emotional hailstorm to make her feel like the victim. But I gave her nothing. And nothing? Nothing is terrifying. Day 4, she texted. Are we just not going to talk about this? I didn't reply. Day 6. Can you at least tell me if you're safe? I left it on read. Day 9, she sent a photo of my dog Cooper, who she claimed was too much responsibility, but suddenly decided to parade in her Instagram stories like a war trophy. Cooper misses you. No, he doesn't. Cooper is a golden retriever. He'd wag his tail if an armed robber brought him snacks. But I didn't respond. Instead, I did what people like Ashley never expect. I got organized. See, when you stop reacting emotionally, you get dangerous. Calm is not weakness. It's focus. I started with the bank. Joint accounts? Closed. My name? Removed from her credit cards. I even set up mail forwarding before she realized I'd left. Utilities? Transferred. Passwords? Changed. I wasn't running. I was rewriting. Day 12, she finally called. Twice. Then a third time. Then 5 more. Back to back. I watched the screen light up, her name flashing like an emergency alert for a storm that already passed. Still didn't answer. She left a voicemail. Logan, this is childish. Avoiding me won't solve anything. Can we please talk like adults? No, we couldn't. Because when I tried to talk, all I got was eye rolls and Chase's cologne in my house. So now? She could talk to the void. But here's the twist. I wasn't just ignoring her. I was building the blueprint. Call it poetic revenge. A masterpiece in restraint. I wasn't going to torture life. I was going to erase my part from it, systematically, quietly, like she never deserved me in the first place. I started with our shared cloud account. Photos, memories, passwords? Gone. That playlist I made for her birthday last year, the one with the song she said makes her feel seen? Deleted. I canceled the streaming services she used under my name. Reclaimed the memberships, the airline miles, the backup hard drive. She'd been living like we were still connected by invisible threads. I made sure they snapped, one by one. Meanwhile, I called my lawyer. Not because I wanted revenge, but because I wanted to be free. Emotionally, financially, legally. We didn't have kids. No property to fight over. But we did have one thing. A shared lease on a home I no longer stepped foot in. And I wanted my name off that lease so badly, I would have signed the paperwork in blood. Ashley wasn't prepared for that email. She thought I'd come crawling back. Or at least lash out. But no. Just. Attached is the mutual release of tenancy. Please sign and return. She didn't reply for 2 days. Then a single message. Well, so that's it. I almost laughed. Because that's it? No, sweetheart. That's Act 1. The silence I gave her wasn't closure. It was stage lighting. And her performance? It was about to end. They say the worst kind of silence is the one that makes you talk. And Ashley? She was starting to talk. Not to me, of course. I was done being the inbox for her guilt. But to mutual friends. To coworkers. To her sister, who sent me a text that just said, "What exactly did you do to her?" I didn't answer. Because I hadn't done anything. That was the point. Let her try to explain why I wasn't shouting. Why I wasn't fighting for her. Why I wasn't begging for answers. People like Ashley live off drama. If you don't give them fire, they'll start burning themselves just to feel something. And she did. I saw the signs. She started posting again. Photos of brunch. Vague quotes about healing. One picture of her and Chase, holding wine glasses like they just wrapped a Netflix show no one asked for. Caption: "Sometimes the heart knows what the head takes too long to realize." Translation: "Please notice that I'm okay." But underneath? She wasn't. I knew because the text started changing. From, "You're being immature," to, "I didn't mean to hurt you like that." And then, "Do you hate me?" That one, I almost responded to. Almost. But I didn't. Because hate would have been easier for her. What I felt wasn't hate. It was exit. And I had no plans of walking backward through a door I'd already burned to the hinges. But see, I wasn't just sitting on the sidelines. While she was busy staging her life as some victory lap with Chase, I was sending out invitations. Not literal ones. Not yet. But small, precise updates to the people who mattered. Our mutual accountant? Informed. The gym we both used? I updated the membership. Hers removed, mine frozen. Her favorite wine club? She'd find out when her discount stopped working. Our friend group? Well, they got a slightly different kind of invitation. Because the truth has a way of showing up to the party even when no one RSVPs. I had lunch with Claire, our mutual friend, or maybe hers now. I wasn't sure. Claire had always been sharp. Not a gossip, but observant. "I've seen the posts," she said, stabbing a salad like it had wronged her. "Ashley's acting like you vanished into thin air." "She told you what happened?" I asked. Claire nodded. Said you couldn't handle her honesty. Said you were stuck in the past, and Chase helped her step into the future. Whatever that means. I slid a flash drive across the table. She raised an eyebrow. "What's this?" "Insurance," I said. "For the truth. Use it how you want. Or don't." She took it. I didn't need to explain. Because unlike Ashley, I didn't need everyone on my side. I just needed one person to look at her and say, "You're not the victim here." That night, I started phase 2. The gift box. Wrapped in matte black, minimalist ribbon. Inside? Just 2 things. The whale mug she abandoned. A printed screenshot of her "Why I Don't Feel Guilty" list. No note. No signature. Just truth, gift wrapped. I left it on her porch at 6:04 a.m., early enough that Chase wouldn't be there, but late enough for her to find it before her morning Pilates performance. By 7:15, she texted me. "What is wrong with you? How dare you invade my space like that? You're not who I thought you were." And there it was. The last line. The one that made me laugh, right there in my car outside a quiet coffee shop. "You're not who I thought you were." Funny thing is, neither was she. She thought I was the safe one. The boring one. The one who would forgive. Forget. Fold. She was wrong. Because rehearsal was over. The real show was just beginning. It started with whispers. Ashley's curated little world. Perfect Instagram captions. Curated friend circles. The soft launch of her affair. It all started to crack like a champagne glass under pressure. Claire must have shared the flash drive. Because 2 days later, I got a message from a friend of hers. One of those, "We've only met twice but follow each other online" types. "Hey, I didn't want to pick sides, but I just saw the stuff you shared. I'm sorry, man. You didn't deserve that." Another message followed. And another. Former coworkers, neighbors, people who used to laugh at her stories about how boring Logan had gotten. Now they weren't laughing. Because now they knew. I never made a public statement. I didn't blast her online. No petty tweets. No digital tantrums. Just facts. Truth has a strange gravity. It pulls people in whether you like it or not. Chase tried to do damage control. I saw his post. Sometimes people fall in love unexpectedly. Doesn't mean it was done with malice. Oh, sure, Chase. Malice wasn't in the room. Just you, your abs, and a woman married to someone else. Ashley didn't post anything for 3 days after the gift box. She finally broke the silence with a caption. Healing isn't linear. I'm learning to forgive myself. Translation: I got caught. But the most important message I got wasn't from a friend. It was from her sister, Melanie. Logan. I don't want to get involved, but you should know Ashley's been spiraling. She says you've poisoned everyone against her. She keeps asking how you're staying so calm. I didn't respond. But if Ashley wanted to know how I was staying so calm, it's because I'd already buried the version of me that loved her. And the man that replaced him? He didn't need closure. He was closure. 2 weeks after the fallout, Ashley finally asked to meet again. No smugness this time. No chase. Just a simple, please. Just once. Coffee. I agreed. Not because I wanted answers, but because I wanted to see what she looked like without a spotlight. We met at a place we used to go before things got complicated. She walked in looking like someone trying to smile through a migraine. Tight lips. Nervous fingers. A woman waiting for applause that never came. I said nothing at first. Just watched her. She finally spoke. Why are you doing this? I tilted my head. Doing what? This whole performance. Making me look like the villain. I sipped my coffee. Calm. You did that part yourself. She looked away. I made mistakes, she said. But you left me. You abandoned me. You didn't even try to fix it. No, I said. You broke it. Then you handed me the pieces and got mad I didn't bleed for you. She went quiet. A minute passed. I miss us, she whispered. There it was. Not love. Not regret. Just nostalgia. She didn't want me back. She missed the version of me that absorbed her chaos. I don't, I said gently. She blinked. I don't miss us. Because it wasn't us for a long time. It was me, loving someone who stopped showing up. She opened her mouth, closed it, then laughed softly. You really did change. No, I said, standing. I just stopped performing. She didn't follow me out. I left her there, alone at the table. Let her keep the echo. You know what people don't tell you about revenge? If you do it right, it doesn't feel like revenge. It feels like relief. I didn't torture life. I didn't spread rumors or send messages to her job or post screenshots. I just vanished from her world. Systematically. Quietly. Entirely. And that emptiness? It echoed louder than anything I could have screamed. She tried to reach me a few more times. A text on her birthday. A voicemail on what would have been our anniversary. Some long message filled with half regrets and what-ifs. I didn't answer. Because I wasn't punishing her. I was protecting me. One night, I got a knock on my door. It was Claire. You all right? She asked. Better than I've been in years. She nodded. Handed me a letter. From Melanie. Ashley moved out of state. New job. Something quiet. I opened the letter. One sentence stood out. She says she hears your voice in everything now. The silence. The calm. The part of her that knows what she ruined. I folded it. Didn't smile. Didn't feel smug. Just felt. Finished. You think healing comes with closure. It doesn't. Closure isn't a door that slams shut. It's a door you stop checking. I sold the house 6 months after it all ended. Gave away most of the furniture. Started fresh. Not because I was running, but because that chapter had run its course. One night, I sat on the floor of my new apartment. No couch yet. Just a pizza box and a playlist humming in the background. And I smiled. Not because I'd won, but because I'd let go. Ashley will tell her version, I'm sure. She'll spin it soft. Say it got complicated. Say I drifted. Say Chase was an accident that turned into something she had to follow. Let her. Because me? I don't need to tell the world my side anymore. I lived it. I loved fully. Got broken silently. And I left with grace. In the end, she got what she asked for. Space. But I took everything else. The quiet. The freedom. The last word. And most of all, peace.